wise man once said, to forget how to dig the soil, tend the earth, is to forget ourselves. Well, maybe some have, but a few of us still know. You gotta be willing to put in the time.
The offering in Farming Simulator 22 is really amazing, so it should come as no surprise that people interested in learning about forestry, animal husbandry, and agriculture are always very eager to test out new versions of the game. The Giant Software franchise is designed to give us the ability to digitally realize this goal. Owning property, working to create food and income, and learning a lot about how to properly take care of your crops are all the engines driving an unconventional idea that people seem to adore. First and foremost, Farming Simulator includes more than 400 tools and machinery, including models made by John Deere, Claas, Case IH, New Holland, Valtra, Massey Ferguson, and numerous other manufacturers. The updated version includes new maps and crops in addition to the more than 100 actual agricultural brands. However, the season support is this year's really big star of the program. Now more than ever, it's critical to carefully consider your next course of action. Even though it often seems like the crops are developing much too slowly, you can only plant the seeds at the proper moment. In other words, Farming Simulator 22 now promises a simulation that more closely resembles what actually occurs in real life, but on the other hand, it also makes the game seem slower to seasoned fans of the brand. Although not particularly good, the graphics are passable. But I obviously had higher expectations for a 2021 game running on next-generation consoles. I tested the PS5 version, and often I didn't see any advancements from the earlier games. However, Giant Software took a bit more time to perfect the minute details, and as a result, the game's automobiles are now more faithful representations of their real-world counterparts. Additionally, this was a requirement given that the latest version of the game includes additional tractors and machinery. The physics, though, might be much better. And so do the game mechanics, which can still have a pretty rough edge. I had the impression that I was playing the first Lotus game that was released many years ago while I was driving a tractor on a public road and colliding with anything, like another car or a pole. No matter if you're a beginner or an expert farmer, playing Farming Simulator is a difficult task. There is a lot to understand, and although the design team made every effort to make things as intuitive as possible, they really fell short too often. Even if there have been numerous enhancements made for high-end machines, I feel like the game still hasn't attained the same level as its predecessor in many ways. Nevertheless, the sporadic bugs can sometimes ruin all the pleasure and make Farming Simulator 22 very annoying. The AI assistants are incredibly buggy and can stop working all of a sudden, which prevents them from finishing their responsibilities. Additionally, they miss a significant portion of the fields they are working in, and this doesn't only occur sometimes. Even though some computers would greatly benefit from such a feature, there is no way to set a follow mode for these aids. But the game's enormous complexity combined with the frequently difficult learning curve, in my opinion, continues to be its main selling feature. In Farming Simulator 22, there is a lot to learn. While this could discourage some novices, it's actually remarkable how much you can wind up learning about crops, equipment, tools, harvesting, and everything else related to farming. Although it's not always easy, it's a method to pass many hours without even considering the dreadful commute you deal with on a daily basis in real life. It takes a lot of practice to perfect the art of farming, so knowing how to use the tools correctly, when to sow the seeds, and how to operate your tractors more efficiently can make all the difference. This is a large part of what distinguishes Farming Simulator 22 from other video games. Although I enjoyed the new seasons, I am aware that there is much room for improvement. Nevertheless, it is clear that a lot of work was put into making the game as realistic as possible. For a beginner, at least, since veterans obviously don't like the slower pace and the lack of subtleties. Despite the fact that Farming Simulator 22 has a lot of shortcomings, game is still worth playing because of the new features it has. Mixed reviews have been given to the seasons, but on the plus side, everyone appears to adore the new gadgets. To put it mildly, the AI aids are appalling and, in many ways, the worst aspect of this year's edition. Giant Software can improve them further with game updates, but it appears like the modding community will once again have to step in and handle everything. It is so difficult to describe Farming Simulator 22 as a great game at the end of the day. It might be, and I have no doubt that the modders will once again enhance this legendary franchise in a way that Giant Software should carefully consider and keep in mind before the release of the next version. Yes, it's only a matter of time before modders supply this essential polishing, but this is obviously not the best course of action for such a well-known game.